ahead of the president's address on the economy tonight, the White House is ramping up its blame on Democrats. Now, here's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt earlier today.
Well, the Democrats are the greatest con artists in American politics. They are pretending to champion the issue of affordability when they themselves created the worst inflation crisis in a generation. You can't create a problem and then turn around and say, I'm the best person to fix it. No, that's why President Trump was reelected, to fix it. And that's exactly what he's doing. So as President Trump has been screaming from the rooftops, Republicans need to remain tough and smart, and they need to be more vocal about touting the accomplishments of this administration.
And I'm joined now by Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, Democrat from Pennsylvania. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us here on Meet the Press now.
Good to be with you.
So we were just talking about how President Trump and Caroline Leavitt, what they're saying when they're blaming the Biden administration for the inflation. They say that they're right when they say that inflation was high during the Biden administration. But so do Democrats have a credibility problem when it comes to that issue, when talking about the economy, when talking about inflation?
Pardon me, I almost laughed. Do Democrats have a credibility problem? Mm-hmm. No, of course, it's this administration that has a credibility problem. And what's puzzling to me, but it shouldn't be because we've spent 10 years now with Donald Trump and his erratic behavior, but he ran both times, maybe all three times, on affordability, bringing your prices down, making your life more affordable, bringing inflation down, whether it was against somebody else or on his own. And now he's calling the affordability problem a hoax that the Democrats have created. No, that is not the case.
And you're right.
Prices are up.
And you're right. He's certainly getting a lot of backlash for that now. The reason I asked that question, though, is, one of the reasons voters chose Donald Trump as opposed to Kamala Harris is that there was this perception that Democrats did not pay enough attention to the economy, hence why I was asking that credibility question. Do you think that Democrats are starting to earn back some of that credibility, or does more need to be done? How are you doing that?
I think we did learn a lesson. I remember in the last cycle trying to talk about how the economy was recovering here in the United States following the pandemic, following high inflation, that our country was doing better than others. But that didn't ring true at the kitchen table for people. Mm-hmm. And so I think we learned a hard lesson there. We were focused on so much, including their cost of living, but we didn't say it specifically enough. But we have figured it out. And I think you have seen that the voters are coming our way. Take a look at the polls. Mm-hmm. They recognize that the Democrats will do something, are doing something when we can about affordability as against this administration with the chaotic tariffs and the prices of everything.
Well, you're certainly right that, Democrats are messaging on affordability. What about action? What can Democrats do to fix that problem specifically instead of, just messaging about it?
Well, one of the big messages that we did come forward with was about affordability of health care. If you take a look in Pennsylvania, the headline this weekend was 30,000 people on the penny system, the state system, have opted out in the first month, just saying, I can't afford it anymore. So we have made the case to the American people about what they feel directly themselves. The cost of health care is too high. So what are we going to do about it? We're going to make sure we legislate about it. And we get those tax credits increased renewed for the upcoming year, because too many people, including my constituents, are going to lose their health care.
It's hard to believe, but we are already 11 months, just 11 months from the midterms. Do you think Democrats should try to replicate the message, the more moderate message of the gubernatorial candidates that were recently successful, or should it go for a more progressive approach like Zoran Mandani in New York?
I think what we should do is what we've already been successful at, which is keep talking about what affects them and do it from an authentic place from where we are. I think you noticed that the president is in Pennsylvania today, strangely at Mount Pocono Lodge, which is the subject of a federal lawsuit around wages. And he's there, and I think he's going to try to talk about affordability. But Pennsylvanians know that the price of gas is not down below $3 a gallon. They know the price of beef is up 15%. They know the price of coffee is up 20%. So we have to just keep talking to them about what their costs are and how, by extending the tax incentives for health care, we're going to be able to have more people access health care. And we are pushing back on the crazy tariffs by this administration, and voters will ultimately make the decision on that.
And that's interesting. So how big of an issue do you think the tariffs will be in these upcoming midterms? The president announcing just yesterday this $12 billion in farm aid because of how his policies are affecting these farmers. What effect do you think that will have, or how will Democrats use tariffs as part of their messaging ahead of the midterms?
Well, people are feeling it. Tariffs are taxes on you and me. The cost of goods for Christmas. Everybody is looking at right now their Christmas lists, their grandchildren's Christmas lists. They know the prices are up. So we'll be able to talk about that very, very directly. And what I think is strange is that the administration hasn't recognized the chaotic nature of these tariffs, what it has done to people's household goods and what they are buying, and that the president is just flailing by offering, of course, the farmers this bailout. That's not what they wanted. They wanted to be able to sell their goods. And between the tariffs, between the shuttering of USAID, American farmers have directly been hurt. People will pay attention to that this election year.
And what is your direct message to these, to the voters in your home state as they watch the president this evening?
Well, I'll tell you, I represent Montgomery and Berks County, so suburban Philadelphia, a place I've lived all my life. I'm talking directly to my constituents, my family members, neighbors. The message is, unfortunately, sadly, we cannot count on the President of the United States to tell the truth or to care first about your pocketbook. He's lining his own, and it's very troubling to me. So my constituents get it. They're very troubled by the course of this administration, the corruption of it, the pardons when the president claims he cares about drug smuggling and is blowing up vessels in the water and pardons one of the biggest drug traffickers of all time. This is just 2 Fridays ago. The incoherence of what this president is doing and how it is affecting everyday people. My constituents are paying attention to it, and Pennsylvanians are paying attention to it.
Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, thank you so much for joining us. We
Thanks for inviting me.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.